I'm tall, too, which you get some annoying questions. The one I hate. Do you play basketball? I'm like, no. Do you play miniature golf? The other question I get, I never understood this question. I get it all the time. Have you always been tall? Yeah, I was born 6'5" and 7 pounds, lady. Toughest part was figuring out where to cut the cord. Where's this kid end, anyway? I just tie him off anyway. He's going to burst into flame in a second anyway. You guys been a lot of fun. Thank you.
Hey there, and welcome to today's episode of Comedy from Home. This is the comedy show that comes to you from my office right here in my home in Southern California. As always, I'm your host, Don McMillan. Thank you for joining us today. Really, no, thank you for joining us because it's my birthday party show. This is my show celebrating my birthday. August 12th is when I'm filming this. That's my birthday. And, well, you'll be able to figure out how old I am now. I'm not going to say it because it sounds so darn old, and I don't feel that old. But I called it How Did We Survive? Because I have no idea how I made it to this age. By all rights, when I look back on my childhood, I should not have made it this far. Between public health and the toys we had and the things we did, I shouldn't be here. I really shouldn't be here. I'm going to prove it. That's why I call the show How Did We Survive? By the way, before I get to today's show, hope you enjoyed that opening clip filmed in front of a live studio audience. More live comedy coming up at the end of today's show, so stick around for that. In the meantime, let's get to today's very special birthday show, which I'm calling How Did We Survive? That's the theme. So let's go. I'm just surprised. I'm surprised I made it to this age. I never thought I'd be this old, but yet I am. So first of all, this is my birthday. It's happy birthday to me. This is my birthday party. You're invited to my birthday party. August 12th, 1959. That's me. That's not me when I was born. I think I'm 6 or 7 months there. I'm not sure. But my parents, that's the only picture of me, by the way. I was the third kid in the family. They took one picture until I graduated high school. That was it. That's the only picture I have of me. But that's me. I was born in 1959. That's a long time ago, okay? Long time ago. But look how much the world has changed. Let's start there before I figured out how I survived this long. Let's look back to 1959. Let's just look at some key factors, key indices. Dow Jones Industrial Average. Today it closed. I checked. 2021, 35,499. If you have stock right now, you're pretty happy. That is really high. That is really high. In 1959, you know what the stock price was in 1959? Depending on what day you chose, 592. 592. Very little. God. And I kept thinking about, we could have been rich if my dad had bought 100 shares of IBM on the day I was born. Dad, if you'd just been smart enough to buy 100 shares, you would not be watching this video. No, because I wouldn't be working. I would be living the life of leisure. I wouldn't be watching this. I wouldn't make the video, so you wouldn't be watching it. So, clearly my dad didn't buy 100. However, a little perspective. If he'd bought 100 shares of Sears right now, we'd both be right here. I'd be doing this, and you'll be watching it. So, it's all perspective. That's all I'm saying. Let's look at interest rate. Interest rate today, right about the prime rate, about 2.5% is the interest rate. In 1959, it was 3.25. Really, pretty much the same. But think about this. If you're in credit card spending, which I'm not, and here's why. I'm going to prove it to you. If you had bought a hamburger for $1 in 1959, not roughly the going price, a good hamburger, high premium hamburger in 1959, and put it on your credit card at 5%, and you paid the minimum monthly payment until now, because it still wouldn't be paid off, trust me, you would have paid $1,376 for that burger and still owed 36 cents. Yeah. So you think credit's good? No, not for your burger. Not for food. Maybe for a car or a house. Don't put food on you because you're paying for food that you already ate. That bill's getting more expensive every month. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Let's get back to it. First class stamp. 1959, a first class stamp. Anywhere in the U.S., 4 cents. 4 cents. 2021, what's a stamp? Kids have no idea what a stamp is. No. Where would you put that on an email? Stamp. What's a stamp? Not even relevant. Gallon of gas. Oh, this one's kind of depressing. Gallon of gas, $3.19 is the national average right now. $3.19 average gallon unleaded gas. 1959, 25 cents. A quarter. Oh my God, that is incredible. If gas were a quarter right now, we'd be bathing in it. I'd be showering in gas. Quarter here. Here, take it. Here's a buck. Go put some gas in your car. And by the way, in California, just a little perspective, California, $4.39. Yeah. So if you don't live in California, we pay so much for gas. So much for an extra $1.20 just to live in California. I'm just complaining. Never mind. A dozen eggs. $2.77 is the national average for a dozen eggs right now. In 1959, it was 53 cents. 53 cents. It's gone up pretty much. And in California, a dozen eggs, we don't eat eggs. Yeah, we're all vegan now. It's actually in the state constitution. We can't eat eggs. It's a living being, or it's going to be. Let's not even get into that debate. Number of Starbucks. I don't know. I know you young people, it's hard to believe there were no Starbucks in 1959. Nope. Wasn't around yet. No Starbucks. No. 2021, you know how many Starbucks? 3,177,257. No, 50. No, there's another one just up. Starbucks just opened in my pants. Anybody want one? Anybody want a Starbucks? There's a drive-through in my pants now. You can get a latte, anything you want. It's ridiculous. Starbucks are everywhere. They're everywhere. Average new home, $12,400 in 1959. $12,400 for a house, not a car, not a motorcycle, a house, $12,000. You could get a six-pack of houses in 1959. 21, the national average, $374,000 for average price. In California, the average price for a house, there's no average available. It changes too fast. By the time you calculate it, it will have gone up. There's no average. It hasn't settled yet. It's a binary series expansion. It's ridiculous. Okay? Again, I'm just complaining. I'm old now. I'm allowed to complain. And now I want to look how things have changed. Luggage. That's Luggage from 1959. See anything? How did we miss this? This is just my question. Just a little thought. How did we miss this? Luggage was a pain in the butt in 1959. You know what it's missing? Look at it. You know what? Wheels. How did we not figure out to put on wheels? For like another 20 years, they didn't put wheels on luggage. We were lugging our luggage. Like, take your luggage from the house to the car. Oh, God, this is heavy. If only there was an easier way to get this heavy bag from the house to the car, that heavy car that's sitting on something. I don't know what it's sitting on. But if we had something on the luggage that could roll, what could we do? 20 years it took us to figure that out. Yeah, we're bright people. Yeah, really bright. Here's something else about cars. Notice anything missing? Seatbelts. Seatbelts. Didn't they not notice people flying around the car? They couldn't figure out to tie people down, idiots, and kids' car seats. Cars nowadays, they have this thing. You could survive a crash at 7,000 miles an hour. You know, we sat in the back window. How did I survive? My sister and I would fight over who got to sit in the back window. Talk about waiting for a projectile launch. How did we survive? That's why I called the show, How Did We Survive? I don't know how I made it to today. Baby foods. Look at that. These are real ads from 1959. 7-Up. 7-Up, they're pushing 7-Up for babies. Nothing does it like a 7-Up for your newborn. Yeah, you want those fizzies. You want a kid to burp? Give him some 7-Up. Oh, at least it doesn't have the caffeine, you say? Oh, no. Coke! For a better start in life, start Coke earlier. Oh, my God. How did we survive? Nutrition was ridiculous. Breakfast foods, Count Chocula. I loved Count Chocula. How is that at all nutritious? It's chocolate on top of sugar. And that's not even the worst of them. There were Choco Donut cereal. Choco Donuts. Let's put some donuts in there. Make it even worse for you. And this is real. They tried to cover it. This is actually real. Vitamin donuts. Yeah, they can't be bad for you. They got vitamins in the donuts. Oh, how did we survive? That's the whole message of today's show. How did we survive? Public health? There was no public health in 1959. Ronald Reagan was pushing cigarettes. The coolest guy in the world in 1959 was doing cigarette ads. Doctors. More doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. Yeah, well, they're not around now, are they? No. Doctors pushed it. Dentists. Why dentists? Because when they're examining your mouth, they want it to smell like Viceroys. That's why. Dentists did cigarette commercials. Santa. I'm not making this up. Santa did Lucky Strike ads. And look at this. It was even sexy. Blow in her face and she'll follow you anywhere. How did we survive? I have no idea how we survived. I don't know how I got to this age, but I did, and I'm happy. Clackers, how about the toys? Toy safety was ridiculous. Clackers. They weren't a toy. That's a weapon. I would hit myself every single time with clackers. How do I not have brain damage? And those weren't the worst of the toys. Slip and slide. It's a broken neck waiting to happen. Come on, slide down the slippery thing you can't possibly balance on because it's supposed to be slippery. And the worst, jarts. Projectile arrows. Heavy arrows that can go right through your skull. And that was a fun game. How did we survive? I have no idea. And then finally, the most blatant, and I remember this so clearly. I grew up in New Jersey, okay? A lot of mosquitoes. You know what they would do? They'd come through with these trucks, spraying DDT through the neighborhood. This is a real photo from the beach, and we would go out and run. My sisters and I, oh, the fog machine's here. Let's go out and play in that fun fog created by the DDT. We were running in chemicals. And somehow we survived. How did we survive? But we did. So I'm celebrating the fact that we survived. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope, I want to thank you, by the way, for joining me for my birthday, which really, just looking back on it, made me just so happy to be in good health when you think about it. And really appreciate how lucky we are to have made it this far and have the world that we have. Because given all the bad things that are happening right now, we still are pretty lucky people. And that's what I'm saying. So I hope you enjoyed today's show. More comedy coming up in front of a live studio audience. In the meantime, appreciate what we have, ladies and gentlemen, and ask yourselves, how did we survive? Here comes your video.
The other thing I do is I just click truths. I see things and I just can't help it. I'm like, I just believe this to be true. I can't prove it. I believe there is only one ultrasound, and they give the same photo to every single person. Have you ever seen one that didn't look like that? They all look exactly like that. Here's a little marketing lesson. This is kind of fun. I passed this sign. I took a picture of it because it struck me funny. That is a good sign. It's a good sign. It's not a great sign. Want to see a better sign? That is a better sign. If you didn't see it, let me try it again. That is a good sign. That is a better sign.